Welcome to the channel Get Rich. Today in this video we are going to look into a new asset class which is cryptocurrencies. So before going to the video, I just want to clarify I'm not a professional investment advisor. Whatever I'm going to explain is my personal opinion. So you have to do your due diligence before investing in any asset. So what is cryptocurrency? So a cryptocurrency is a digital or virtual currency that is secured by cryptography, which makes it nearly impossible to counterfeit or double spend. Many cryptocurrencies are decentralized networks based on blockchain technology, a distributed ledger enforced by a disparate network of computers. A defining feature of cryptocurrencies is that they are generally not issued by any central authority, rendering them theoretically immune to government interference and manipulation. A cryptocurrency is a new form of digital asset based on a network that is distributed across a large number of computers. This decentralized structure allows them to exist outside the control of governments and central authorities. The word cryptocurrency is derived from the encryption techniques which are used to secure the network. Blockchains, which are organizational methods for ensuring the integrity of transactional data, is an essential component of many cryptocurrencies. Many experts believe that blockchain and related technology will disrupt many industries, including finance and law. Cryptocurrencies face criticism for a number of reasons, including their use for illegal activities, exchange rate volatility, and vulnerabilities of the infrastructure underlying them. However, they also have been prized for their portability, divisibility, inflation resistance, and transparency. So, the first blockchain based cryptocurrency was Bitcoin, which still remains the most popular and most valuable. Today, there are thousands of alternative cryptocurrencies with various functions and specifications. Some of these are clones or forks of Bitcoin, while others are new currencies that were built from scratch. So, central to the appeal and functionality of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is blockchain technology. Blockchain technology is used to keep an online ledger of all the transactions that have ever been conducted, thus providing a data structure for this ledger that is quite secure and is shared and agreed upon by the entire network of individual node or computer maintaining a copy of the ledger. Every new block generated must be verified by each node before being confirmed, making it almost impossible to forge transaction histories. Many experts see blockchain technology as having serious potential for uses like online voting and crowdfunding, and major financial institutions such as JP Morgan Chase see the potential to lower transaction costs by streamlining payment processing. However, because cryptocurrencies are virtual and are not stored on a central database, a digital cryptocurrency balance can be wiped out by the loss or destruction of a hard drive if a backup copy of the private key does not exist. At the same time, there is no central authority, government, or corporation that has access to your funds or your personal information. So, some of the advantages. So, cryptocurrencies hold the promise of making it easier to transfer funds directly between two parties without the need for a trusted third party like a bank or credit card company. These transfers are instead secured by the use of public keys and private keys and different forms of incentive systems like proof of work or proof of stake. In modern cryptocurrency systems, a user's wallet or account address has a public key, while the private key is known only to the owner and is used to sign transactions. Fund transfers are completed with minimal processing fees, allowing users to avoid the steep fees charged by banks and financial institutions for wire transfers. And as for other assets, there are some disadvantages. The semi-anonymous nature of cryptocurrency transactions makes them well suited for a host of illegal activities such as money laundering and tax evasion. However, cryptocurrency advocates often highly value their anonymity, citing benefits of privacy like protection for whistleblowers or activists living under repressive governments. Some cryptocurrencies are more private than others. Bitcoin, for instance, is a relatively poor choice for conducting illegal business online, since the forensic analysis of the Bitcoin blockchain has helped authorities to arrest and prosecute criminals. More privacy oriented coins do exist, however, such as Dash, Monero, or Zcash, which are far more difficult to trace. So, there are also some criticisms of cryptocurrency. Since market prices for cryptocurrency are based on supply and demand, the rate at which a cryptocurrency can be exchanged for another currency can fluctuate widely, since the design of many cryptocurrencies ensures a high degree of scarcity. Bitcoin has experienced some rapid surges and collapses in value, climbing as high as $19,000 per Bitcoin in December of 2017 and had a drop to around $3,000 as well. So cryptocurrencies are thus considered by some economists to be a short-lived fad or speculative bubble. So there is concern that cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are not rooted in any material goods. However, some research has identified that the cost of producing a Bitcoin, which requires an increasingly large amount of energy, is directly related to its market price. Cryptocurrency blockchains are highly secure, but other aspects of a cryptocurrency ecosystem, including exchanges and wallets, are not immune to the threat of hacking. In Bitcoin's 10-year history, several online exchanges have been the subject of hacking and theft, sometimes with millions of dollars worth of coins stolen. Nonetheless, many observers see potential advantages in cryptocurrencies, like the possibility of preserving value against inflation and facilitating exchange while being more easy to transport and divide than precious metals, and existing outside the influence of central banks and governments. Now, let's have a look at cryptocurrency market and compared with other markets. So if you have a look at this particular chart, so this chart is a bit outdated, but I will explain the updated data value. So if you look at the all money that exists, which is $86.5 trillion, and if you look at the stock market, it has a value of 67.5 trillion. And if you are looking at physical money, it's $34.4 trillion. And if you are having a look at gold market cap, which is $7.8 trillion, and if you are having a look at USD in circulation, which is $1.5 trillion, and Apple, which is stated $1 trillion, but the current value is around $2 trillion, and Amazon, the current value is around $1.5 trillion. But if you have a look at cryptocurrency market, currently it was around $370 billion. Compared with Jeff Bezos, he has a net worth of $112 billion. And if you look at only the Bitcoin value, it is around $220 billion. So it has a huge potential to grow. So because it's a very small market compared to other asset classes, because it's relatively new, and also it has their own disadvantages and risks one has to consider. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin was launched in 2009 by an individual or group known by the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. As of today, there were over 18 million Bitcoins in circulation with a total market value of around $217 billion. Some of the competing cryptocurrencies spawned by Bitcoin's success, known as altcoins, today the aggregate value of all cryptocurrencies in existence is around $369 billion. Bitcoin currently represents more than 58% of the total value. So then the question arises, why should we invest? What is the return potential? So before looking into that, let's have a look at Bitcoin's profitable days. So if you are having a look at the current situation, number of days profitable holding Bitcoin is 3,599, and the total number of days Bitcoin was existed is 3,652 days. So out of 3,652 days, if you bought the Bitcoin at any day in 3,599 days, it is in profitable. So the profitable days holding Bitcoin is around 98.5%. So only those 1.5%, if you have bought the Bitcoin at the peak, you are in loss. But then it was profitable most of the time. Around 98.5% of the time Bitcoin was profitable. If you buy at any point of time here, it's going to be profitable. So let's have a look at 1 year hurdle wave. So what is 1 year hurdle wave? So in this chart, blue color represents the Bitcoin price and the yellow color describes the number of Bitcoin which are holding more than 1 year. So if the price is increasing, people tend to sell, and then the number of holders comes down. When the price comes down, the number of holders is not selling anymore because it's not profitable. So they have Bitcoin is have more potential to go up. So then the holders increase. So in the recent peak, the holders decreased because of the price increase, and at the current scenario, the holders again increasing. So whenever number of holders more than 1 year is increasing, the Bitcoin tend to go up. So it's almost 60% of the Bitcoin is currently locked, or people are holding and not selling. More people want to buy, they need to buy from the market, from the 40% of the market. So based on supply and demand, the Bitcoin price tend to go up. So the hurdle wave represents the people's trust and belief of Bitcoin going up. So the hurdle wave is nearly reaching its all-time high. So more and more people are believing in Bitcoin's potential to go up. So then let's have a look at Bitcoin cycles. Bitcoin price operates in a cyclical manner. So in the first, you are seeing it's 329 days to cycle peak, and then it increases to 903 days to cycle peak, and then in the third wave it is 1477 days to cycle peak, and then based on the before previous three histories, it is estimated to be 2051 days to cycle peak for the next peak. And also with this graph they are estimating the next peak date is July 30th 2023, and the price is going to be $150,000. So look at the potential. Currently the Bitcoin price stands around $10,000 and it can reach up to $150,000. So this is one person who drew this cycle, and we also have several persons or several people coming up with their own chart and own cycles. So in this chart they say each cycle has had exactly 574 more days added to reach the next Bitcoin peak price, leading the next bull cycle peak. So then each Bitcoin cycle has increasing number of days, and also the percentage increasing is also decreasing because the market is maturing more and more. So this is one chart, but there are many charts created by different people. Let's have a look at chart 2. So here they say it's around 322 days for the cycle 1 and 903 days for cycle 2 and 1490 days for cycle 3 and 2073 days for cycle 4. So they are estimating $160,000 for Bitcoin in August 2023. So all these charts are representing with the halving. So the Bitcoin cycle revolves around the halving. So I will explain what is Bitcoin halving in some time. So let's have a look at the chart created by another person. So it always Bitcoin cycle revolves around the halving. So if you have a look at the halving, so here you have a halving and you have a bull market, and then you have a bear market, and you have a accumulation phase, and then halving, and then bull market, bear market. So this cycle always repeating for the past 3 times. So looking at the history, the Bitcoin price should go up because the current halving happened around May 2020, and after halving always the Bitcoin price was going up. So this person was predicting 200,000 Bitcoin bit early around 2022. If you look at the price prediction, the more conservative target would be 100,000, and then there are people who are telling 300,000 for Bitcoin as well. So in this chart, Bitcoin halving's impact on Bitcoin price. So here if you look at in this chart, after the first halving, so the first Bitcoin halving, so November 28 2012, so 368 days after the halving, the Bitcoin went up by 92 times from 12 to 1178. It's a bull market after halving, and then a bear market, and then accumulation, and then again the second halving. So the second Bitcoin halving happened at July 2016. The Bitcoin was $657. So 525 days after the halving, it went up 30 times from 657 to 19,800. The bull market, after then the bear market, there is an accumulation. The same pattern is repeating. So the last halving happened at around May 2020. So after this, every time if you see, the number of days is increasing after every halving. So it was 368 days here, it was around 525 days here, maybe here it will be around somewhere around 725 days. And then also the return, if you look at the return, it was decreasing. So it was around 92 times, and here now it was around 30 times. So if same thing continues here, it is going to be around 10x. So here at the time of halving, we had around $10,000 more or less. So 10,000 times 10, which is going to be 100,000. So most people are estimating the price prediction to going to be 100,000 to 300,000. So I would say the more realistic estimate would be $100,000. So that's already 10 times return in next 2 to 3 years. So that's a very huge return you can expect from this asset class. So let's have a look at halving. So we are talking about halving. So what is halving? So new Bitcoins enter circulation as block rewards produced by miners who use expensive electronic equipment to earn or mine them. Every 210,000 blocks, or roughly every 4 years, the total number of Bitcoin that miners can potentially win is halved. So if you have a look at the first phase, so 50 new Bitcoin created every 10 minutes. So in total, in this particular phase, 10.5 million Bitcoin is mined. And then after the first halving, only 25 new Bitcoin created every 10 minutes, and in the total period it was around 5.2 million Bitcoin is mined. So after the second halving in 2016, So only 12.5 new Bitcoin is created every 10 minutes. So it's around 2.625 million Bitcoin is created in this particular cycle. And then you have third halving. So it again reduced to 6.25 new Bitcoin created every 10 minutes. And then in this cycle from 2020 to 2024, only 1.3 million Bitcoin is going to be created. So the Bitcoin's total supply is fixed at 21 million. So only 21 million Bitcoin can ever exist, and the supply is reducing every cycle. If the supply is reduced in every cycle and the demand is increasing, or even the demand remains the same, the price should go up. It's demand and supply. So according to this demand supply cases, so if supply is going down and lot of institutional investors are coming in and lot of new demand for Bitcoin is creating, then the price should go up. So this is the effect of halving we have. So that's why after halving, Bitcoin price always tends to go up, because the supply is decreasing after every halving. So let's have a look at Bitcoin supply and block subsidy by each year. So then the Bitcoin supply was around 50 Bitcoin, so for every 10 minutes. So in this period, and then it reduced to 25, and then it reduced to 12.5, and then it reduced to 6.25, and so on. And also if you look at the same, the Bitcoin supply, it is also decreasing. So currently, so as I said, only 21 million Bitcoin can ever exist, and almost we are reaching around 18.4 million currently. So there are not much Bitcoin is available to be mined. So that's why the supply is decreasing and the inflation of Bitcoin is reducing after each halving. That's why the price is going up. Let's have a look at stock to flow model. So what is stock to flow model? So stock to flow model treats Bitcoin as being comparable to commodities such as gold, silver, or platinum. These are known as store of value commodities because they retain value over long time frames due to their relative scarcity. It is difficult to significantly increase their supply. That is, the process of searching for gold and then mining it is expensive and takes time. Bitcoin is similar because it is also scarce. In fact, it is the first ever scarce digital object to exist. There are a limited number of coins in existence, and it will take a lot of electricity and computing effort to mine the 3 million outstanding coins still to be mined. Therefore, the supply rate is consistently low. So if you have a look at stock to flow ratios, what is it? The stock to flow ratios are used to evaluate the current stock of a commodity, total amount currently available, against the flow of new production amount mined that specific year. So for store of value commodities like gold, platinum, or silver, a high ratio indicates that they are mostly not consumed in industrial applications. Instead, the majority is stored as a monetary hedge, thus driving up the stock to flow ratio. A higher ratio indicates that the commodity is increasingly scarce and therefore more valuable as a store of value. So if you have a look at the Bitcoin stock to flow model, after every halving, the supply is decreasing and the stock to flow ratio is increasing, and thus the price or the value of Bitcoin is increasing. So you see, this is the actual value of Bitcoin according to stock to flow model. So currently we are exactly standing at the fair price of Bitcoin. So it is increasing to around $100,000. So in 2021 or 2022, it's the price of Bitcoin, the fair price of Bitcoin is 100,000. So after every cycle, Bitcoin overshoots the fair price and then comes below, and then again overshoots and then comes below the fair price. So this is a cycle every time is happening. So it happened in 2014, it happened in 2018, and it will or it might happen at 2022 because history always tends to repeat. So here the base price is 100,000, so it might overshoot 100,000 to reach to 200,000 or 150,000. So according to stock to flow model, Bitcoin has more room to grow. That's about the stock to flow model. And then let's have a look at the comparison between Bitcoin, gold, and silver. So let's have a look at major central bank balance sheets. If you have a look at US Fed, they are increasing their balance sheet. Almost they are doubling, they are printing money because of this current crisis. And also if you look at European Central Bank, they are also increasing, they are printing money to increasing their assets. So also if you look at Bank of Japan, they are also increasing the asset. It will lead to higher inflation, and also almost the interest rate are reaching negative territory. So then if you have a look at gold chart, it was in the bull market and then it was in the bear market for so long. It break out after the current crisis, and also the current governments are printing money like crazy. So the gold price just shot up and then it crossed the previous all-time high and it was just reached the new highs. So this is gold chart. If you look at the silver, it behaved on the same way, but it was delayed from gold and it is following gold. And also now at the current situation, silver is going to be a very good investment compared to gold, because silver is going to catch up gold. Currently it stands at 26, it will easily reach 52. You can double your money in a relatively short amount of time. And then let's have a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin also behaving at the same time. It is trying to, it just broke out the resistance and it is trying to catch up to the past all-time highs and reach the new all-time high. If it reaches the new all-time high, then the new bull market is going to, it's going to go parabolic. That's at least my expectation. Let's have a look at the stock to flow model and compare it with silver and gold and Bitcoin. So if you are having a look at stock to flow model and if you plot the stock to flow model with the market value, so silver has a stock to flow ratio of 33.3 and it has a market value of $561 billion. Gold has a stock to flow ratio of 58.3 and it has a market value of around $10 trillion. So according to this particular model, S2FX model, it estimates a market value of next Bitcoin is going to be $5.5 trillion and this translates into a Bitcoin price of $288,000. So according to the stock to flow ratio, which defines the scarcity, so gold is around 58.3, Bitcoin almost is catching up. It's around 50 to 56, so it will reach 56 in 2024. It's currently it's around 50, the stock to flow ratio. So it's an attractive investment opportunity. So some people say this model is not correct. So it is not reflecting the gold's stock to flow ratio. So the stock to flow ratio is not respecting the price. So some people did not agree with this model. It gives us a sense of comparison with silver and gold. So then it all depends on the demand for Bitcoin. So let's have a look at the industrial adoption. So MicroStrategy, the world's largest business intelligence firm, purchased 21,454 BTC valued at $250 million. The move saw MicroStrategy swapping cash for Bitcoin as its treasury reserve asset in what industry commentators say could be a watershed event for Bitcoin industrial adoption. And also Fidelity, they did a survey, so 80% of US and European institutional investors find cryptocurrency appealing. So this new survey of about 800 institutional investors in the US and Europe shows strong cryptocurrency adoption, particularly Bitcoin. About 80% of institutions said they find cryptocurrency appealing and 60% believe cryptocurrencies have a place in their portfolio. Fidelity Digital Assets, the cryptocurrency arm of Fidelity Investments, announced Tuesday the results of a survey to better understand institutional interest and adoption of cryptocurrencies as well as key barriers to investing in them. It was conducted from November 2019 to March 2020. Fidelity Digital Assets offer a full-service enterprise-grade platform for securing, trading and supporting cryptocurrencies. Let's have a look at altcoins. So altcoins are other cryptocurrencies launched after the success of Bitcoin. Generally, they sell themselves as better alternatives to Bitcoin. The term altcoins refer to all cryptocurrencies other than Bitcoin. As of early 2020, there were more than 5,000 cryptocurrencies by some estimates. According to CoinMarketCap, altcoins accounted for over 41% of the total cryptocurrency market. So some of the main types of altcoins include mining-based cryptocurrencies, stablecoins, security tokens, and utility tokens. Mining-based, these altcoins have a mining process by which new coins are generated by solving challenging problems to unlock blocks. They are more similar to Bitcoin than other altcoins. Most of the top altcoins in early 2020 fell into this category. Ethereum was the best known mining altcoin as of February 2020. So stablecoins. So the stablecoins seek to improve on Bitcoin by reducing volatility. In actual practice, this is achieved by tying the value of the coins to existing currencies. So if you have a look at security tokens, these altcoins are linked to a business and they often launch in an initial coin offering. So then we have utility tokens. So they provide a claim on services and they are sometimes sold as part of ICO. So Ethereum and Ripple were the largest altcoins by market capitalization. Ethereum is a technology that lets you send cryptocurrencies to anyone for a small fee. It also powers applications that everyone can use and no one can take down. It's a world's programmable blockchain. Ethereum builds on Bitcoin's innovation with some big differences. So then we have the Ripple platform. So the Ripple platform is an open source protocol which is designed to allow fast and cheap transactions. Unlike Bitcoin, that was never intended to be a simple payment machine, Ripple is definitely going to rule all the international transactions worldwide. Pretty ambitious, but who knows? Maybe currency exchanges will disappear in a few years like Blockbuster stores did. So the platform has its own currency XRP, but also allows everybody to use the platform to create their own via RippleNet. XRP is a token used for representing the transfer of value across the Ripple network. The main purpose of XRP is to be a mediator for other both cryptocurrencies and fiat exchanges. And then if you are having a look at the potential of different coins, this is the Bitcoin chart. It reached all-time high of 20,000 and currently it trades around $12,000. It will definitely cross 20,000 and the price target is between 100,000 to 200,000 from different analysts. And also if you have a look at the altcoins, so let's first have a look at Ethereum. So it has an all-time high of $1,400. Currently it trades at around $430. In order to reach the all-time high, it still has to go 4x. So then after crossing, it might still go up. So let's have a look at Ripple. So Ripple reached an all-time high of $3.84. Currently it trades around 0.3. So it has to go up 12 times to reach the previous all-time high, and it might still can go past the all-time highs. So there are significant return potentials which are possible from these coins. And also this is a chart of Dash, which is a digital cash. So it's also an altcoin which has high potential. So currently it is trading at around $95. The all-time high was around $1,600. So it still has to go 16 times to reach the all-time high, and after reaching all-time high still it can go up. So there are huge opportunities in this cryptocurrencies market, but at the same time there are huge risks associated with this as well. So if you can do your due diligence, if you look into cryptocurrencies, if you look into Bitcoins and other altcoins, you can have a significant investment opportunity in the next 2-3 years. You can have a significant or unbelievable gains from this market. That is my personal opinion. You have to do your due diligence before investing in any asset. So according to me, there are huge potential in altcoin market, and even in Bitcoin it can go up 10 times, and altcoins can go up several times, and you can multiply your money. So but before investing in this asset, do your due diligence, because there are huge risks associated with this market. Since it's a very small market, it can even crash or anything can happen. So it is relatively a small market, so it has a high return and high risk market. So that's all for my video. So this is my personal opinion. So you have to do your due diligence before investing in any asset classes. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Bye bye.